So, first of all, is this, along with this. These are the original releases of Snow from 2003, January 31st. This one is the CD-ROM edition, and this one is the DVD-ROM edition. Hang on, let me check. Can I show the back of this, or is it... will the YouTube not let me? That looks okay. Oops. Yes, they're pretty much identical, apart from this one came on 2 DVD-ROMs, and this one came on 4 CD-ROMs because of storage space. They've got, you know, a nice manual in color. There's Kanata. Sprite, I believe, isn't used in game, but they put them in the manual, and you can see full body sprites as well, which I believe was also not in the game. And then there's 4 discs. These were actually sealed, as I apparently never opened them when I bought this copy. That's cool. I don't really care, to be honest. But yes, that's the CD-ROM edition. The DVD-ROM edition, slightly different cover. This one focuses on Oka, this one focuses on Sumino. But apart from that, there's no real difference. It's an identical manual. And yeah, there's the game disc. It's only 1 disc, not 2. I'll try to be accurate, but who knows how well I'll do. Okay, so that was the first release of Snow. Now on to the second release. The Dreamcast port. So this was released end of 2003 in September, so 8 months after the original release, and this added voice acting. That was the main, or only difference, I think, from this compared to the PC version, apart from taking out H scenes, of course. Yeah, the original didn't have voice acting because it was meant to have it, and then they delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed, and then they cut the voice acting, along with a couple other things, just to get it out in time. But then they added it for the Dreamcast port, which was quite good. It does have a different voice cast to that of Plus Edition and Standard Edition, the later releases. But it's an alright voice cast. I don't know, I haven't really listened to it much. Here's the manual. Comes with that. Yeah. Similarly to the other one, it shows the sprites. Doesn't seem to have Kanata though. Wow. Very important details. There's the disc. There's the back of the box. It's the same sort of CGs as you'll always see. But yeah. I don't own a Dreamcast, so I can't play this. But it's nice to own it. As with probably the next one here. The PlayStation 2 release, or releases. One of these is the limited edition, and one of them is the standard edition. I could not tell you the difference. I do not remember which is which. Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to tell. I don't know it. Actually, hang on. V&DB has informed me that this is the limited edition, and this is the standard edition. These are similar to the Dreamcast port. It's the same voice cast, but this adds a route for Mako. That's why she's on the cover. This is the first instance of that route, without age scenes or any of that. So it's all ages, and it's on the PlayStation 2. Yeah, same sort of stuff as the other one. The these ports were done by Interchannel, right? Yeah. Who were prototype, well, they sort of turned into prototype as time went on. They're what they were back in the day. Oops. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. It's got the Mako key art that you can see. There's a nice poster of it. I don't own the poster, but it's a nice poster, and I'd like to own it. Perhaps one day. That is the PlayStation 2 port. Next up. Full Voice, the PC release. I do own 2 of these. Don't worry about that. Let me check the back actually. We're still good. Seems to be mostly the same back as the original. Yeah. Just they made it a bit smaller. As you can see, the box is a lot smaller. So these were released 2004 September. The PS2 was 2004 February, for reference. And what these are the PC versions without the Maker root from PS2, just the original PC release, but now with voice acting, with a different cast from the console ports to make things confusing. But this is the familiar voice cast from Plus Edition and Standard Edition. So you've got Suzuki Keiko as Mako. You may be wondering why I own 2 copies of it. The answer is this one's empty. I'll explain that later. This one is a proper copy. I can open it. Similarly, you know, it's the game box, the user manual. Ooh, if I can get it out of the box. Yep, it's always the same manual, isn't it? Explains the characters, how to run it, all of that. Yeah, I mean, it's a fine release, but that's better. For example, Plus Edition. Now this is the version of Snow that probably everyone here has read, because it's the one that got translated into English. Sorry, I'm just checking the back to make sure there's no HCGs. We look good. It is a slightly different back to the previous one though. They actually put in a bit of effort this time. So what this includes is the mysterious girl here, new route for her, Maker route, it's backported from PS2 and uses the PC voice cast now and adds an age scene because of course we've got to have that in. This is a PC release in 2008. And it also ports the game to real life. That's what I was trying to think of. As all the other PC releases so far have been on Mebius's engine. I don't really know what it is. It's the EXE is called Mebius 32, but not 32-bit, as some of them are called Mebius 33 or 34. I think it's just the version number of their internal engine. I don't think it's ABG 32. Pretty sure it's different, but it's a pain. I've never really used it outside of just checking out Full Voice can boot, and it can't really boot because it barely supports Windows 7, let alone 10 or 11. But real life still works for the most part, so this release still works. And this was 2006 November, so about 2 years after Full Voice, they came out with another release. You know, maybe they needed more money. Look at that. Wherever I bought this off, filled out the survey. I don't actually know what these are, but you know, they're cool to see. Yes. This manual, again, it's the same as all the other manuals, but it's in black and white now, which is a bit disappointing. You can tell that they cheaped out. The technical manual that just teaches you how to turn on a computer. and a game disc. It's the game disc. Didn't really need to take it out, but I might as well. Okay. So that was, what, 2006, I said right? So next up is a release that I don't own. I could just put a phone here. As next was the release for phones, but not smartphones. It was the other thing, the FOMA cell phone thing. You might be familiar with it. You can Google it. Anyway, so that's another old release that I don't own because I don't have the phone it came on, and I don't think you can even get it through any source anymore. But it would be nice. Maybe one day I'll find a way to get it. That was October 2006. Now we move to the future once more. It's now 2007, August, and we have Snow Portable. This is the PSP port. This was done by Prototype, as they were Prototype at this point in time. And it is pretty much Snow Plus Edition ported to consoles with new voice acting for the Mysterious Girl route using the console voice cast. Age scene taken out, and it does include a few new scenes that are exclusive to this. It has a new ending for the Mysterious Girl route. It's 15 minutes long, and a couple other new scenes that were never ported to the PC version. I've uploaded them on my channel somewhere. The uploads aren't very good as it stands because I recorded it on an emulator and it's flickering a bunch. But you can go and seek them out if you feel like it. Yes, I believe that's one of the new CGs for Mysterious Girl. But one other thing is that since this is a PSP release, and the PSP was not super powerful, there are a lot of voice lines cut. They only used some of them for more important scenes, and the rest of them they cut to save on storage space. I think some of the other Prototype releases from around this time did it. Like Clanad maybe did it, or Little Busters. Some of the key VNs did it, unfortunately. And also it's, a PSP, so it's 240p or whatever. If it didn't have those, this could be the definitive release, because it has the most content in terms of pure scenario text, but unfortunately, it's not really worth it. The manual, this one is in colour, though it's a bit smaller, and it does not include Kanata, but they put in a bit of effort. Okay, and then next, as we reach the end almost, Snow Standard Edition Plus Dark Snow. This is actually the version of Snow that I read for the first time back in 2020. I bought this off of Mandarake as I felt like owning a physical copy, and then read it for 20 minutes. Can I show you the back of this? Yeah, the Dark Snow CGs look, a bit on the edge, but we're probably good. YouTube won't delete this video. So this release, it's not the best. It's Standard Edition. It's got the Standard Edition title on the box. Not on the opening though. The opening for the original PC and Full Voice and Plus Edition, they've all got slightly different openings, and they have in it Snow Plus Edition, Snow Full Voice Edition. The opening for this still says Snow Plus Edition, as it's just Snow Plus Edition. They didn't even change the opening. Yeah, it's identical to Snow Plus Edition, except it includes Dark Snow, which is not a selling point, that's more of a detriment. Dark Snow, if you're unfamiliar with it, is a short 2 or 3 hour parody visual novel, kind of, where the protagonist of the, what was it, Akamu and Zetsubo, the Aoi Kajitsu, whatever. It's Studio Mebius' dark, very dark and 18 plus visual novel series is, yes. And the gimmick is the protagonist of that comes over here to the world of snow and tries to do his evil deeds, but the snow heroines are too powerful and he can't, assault them. So it's more of a comedy than you might think looking at that logo, but it's still not very good. It doesn't really have any H scenes, but there are, HCGs, and yeah, it's not really a good time. I wouldn't recommend it. There's a reason no one has translated it into English, and probably won't ever. But it's no standard edition. It's plus edition, so that's okay. And once again, black and white manual, much the same as plus edition. And with that, we reach the end of the PC releases of Snow. After this, there were only 2 more releases of Snow. I'd say so far, but I doubt Snow's ever getting another re-release. Those were Snow Portable, so the Snow PSP version, did get a download edition, which I don't own because I'm not sure if the PSP servers are even still up. Sounds like, actually, I think they are. I think I could buy it, but I don't own a PSP. So, and I have the physical copy, so I don't really see the worth in going and buying the download edition just to tick it off from VNDB, although that is tempting. And the other one I do own, which came out in 2015. The PSP download edition was 2010. Snow Standard Edition was 2008, if I didn't mention it. And then Studio Mebius kind of died in 2010. They didn't do anything. But in 2015, they did put out the Android port of Snow Standard Edition, which includes Dark Snow. It's this, but on a phone. In the Flix engine, as opposed to real life. Although the Flix engine is kind of Sigilus, which is kind of real life, sort of, not really. Engines are fun. Though interestingly, side tangent, as the phone port is on Flix, you can use the Sigilus engine leaked tools to rip the game scripts with all of the dev comments intact. I have done this, and it's quite interesting to go through as there's a fair amount of commented out text, especially from early on in the visual novel, where they were, I guess, rewrote it a few times, and it's all kind of a mess of, there's like extra exposition that they cut out, various small lines of dialogue that's just been removed, and then you can look later on in the script and there's not too much that was cut or commented out, but it's still neat to see. What was I talking about? The Android port. I own that, as it's still up on the L site. I can't show you it because I'm using my phone to record this video, but I own it. It's this on an Android phone. There's not much more to it. But that will about do it for the releases of the visual novel. How many can I fit in frame? Not all of them really. Full voice with something in it. That's full voice without anything in it. There you go. Yes, that's 10 copies of Snow. So that's, I don't know, the intro. Now we get into the more interesting things. Oops. Did I just damage that? Let's talk about Tomakoi. Oh. Now then, Tomokoi, or Tomodachi Ijo Koibito Miman, or More Than Friends, Less Than Lovers, is the, what would you call it, fan disc? Sequel? Not really a sequel, spin-off? Because it's a spin-off visual novel that released 2004 September, so about a year and 8 months after Snow. And it's not the best. Whereas Snow was a nakige, key vibe, this is more of a, it's all about the H scenes really. It focuses on Meiko, who's my favourite character. But there's not much to it. There's a few nice scenes. It's set after the true ending of Snow, so you could call it a canon continuation, but I wouldn't really worry about it too much. It's there's some of it's good, some of it's not good, some of it's really not good, some of it's really not good, some of it's alright. Yeah, it's not translated into English, probably won't ever be, as it's like 30% H scenes, no one really wants to touch that. It is nice to see some of the characters of Snow after the events of Snow, you know, it's set in the future, so you get to see what's going on with them, how are they getting on. The art is not as good, but the soundtrack's quite nice. It's got a couple of Snow remixes. But anyway, this isn't a review of Tomokoi, it's me showing all the things I've wasted my money on. Let me look at the back of this. I reckon it's not safe for work. Yeah. The cover potentially is. It has a, you know, fun gimmick where you can take that off. This is the premium edition, by the way. There was a premium edition and a regular edition released on the same day. As opposed to Snow, which only got a... Ooh, well, I suppose it had CD and DVD releases, but there was no limited edition. I suppose they didn't want to do one. That's the game. That's the premium book or whatever that says. I can't tell you. This is probably not too safe to flip through, but it's got some nice artwork and character introductions. Let me take this off frame so I don't open it to an HCG. It's got, yeah, there are HCGs in there, of course there are. Some rough artwork. It's quite a nice booklet. Now this over here is Tomokoi Premium Edition. That doesn't really tell you much. If you open it... right, this is the opening theme, full version disc. It's, you know, you've got it, and karaoke version, short version, whatever. That's fine. This is more interesting, as this is the Snow Digest Story Disc, which is a shortened version of Snow, specifically Oka Route, the true route. Yeah, about 90 minutes long, and it goes through the story to give you a recap if you haven't read Snow and you're reading this, which I suppose could happen, or if you have read Snow and you just want a recap. It doesn't really include anything new, but the most interesting part is it does include voice acting for Kanata. So during a few, just a couple, pivotal scenes in Snow, you can watch them with Kanata being voice acted, which I think is quite neat. This is uploaded somewhere on my channel if you're interested. And now this is the game. I bet you I can't show you the back of this. No. I can probably show this. User manual. This is in color. cool. I wonder if they go to black and white in a later release. I don't remember. Just closed this the wrong way and showed the back cover. I'll edit that out. There we go. That is Premium Edition. And also on that day was a regular edition, which I don't own. But I don't own every release of Tomokoi. This is a struggle. There we go. But next was Standard Edition, which released 2 years after the Premium Edition, the original release. Doesn't include anything new, it's just the original Tomokoi, but standard now. And I bet you I still can't show the back. And is this in color? No. Cheap towel on the ink for this release. Does this even include the characters? Or is it just how to play the game? Wow, look at that. Things had really gone downhill in 2006. Couldn't even include the characters. Yep, not much to say about that one. It's on the same end. I've really got to stop closing these the wrong way. I'll edit that out again. And the final release of Tomokoi that I own is HD Plus Edition. This is pretty much the last thing Studio Mebius ever released, as after this they pretty much died, stopped releasing anything apart from a couple Android ports. They announced a new VN in 2020, but that still isn't out. But they at least got this out, which, let me check the back. No. That's a no-go. This is actually quite an impressive release. It's in HD, as opposed to Snow, which never got an HD re-release. They did an HD re-release of Tomokoi, but not one of Snow, which has always confused me. I don't know if it just, they had the assets for this in HD. I mean, they're cropped, but maybe they were big enough that they could crop them, or they just decided to do this one in HD and were planning to do Snow and never did it. I don't know. This ports to real life. The old versions were on Mebius's engine, as that is explained earlier, and real life in HD, which you don't really see too often. I can't think of any other ones off the top of my head that are in HD. I think there's a couple, but for the most part it was your 4x3 800x600 engine of choice. This is pretty much the original release. 3 herons here. It was voiced in the original release. Forgot to mention that. So there was no need to add voice acting in any of these re-releases. But this does include this girl here. Mysterious Girl. Not the same as Snow's Mysterious Girl. This is a new Mysterious Girl. They like adding Mysterious Girls as new heroines. She's added, and she is somebody, she's mysterious. I won't spoil it. You're never going to read this, but yep, she's there. Her root short. It's okay. Has a really, really dark H scene in it, but probably the darkest out of this fish novel. Just a fun fact there. This manual is in colour. So they actually decided to go back and release in colour for their potential final release. That's quite cool. That and that, a technical manual, and ooh, there is the disc with the cover there. So the last release, actually, of Tomokoi is one I own. It's the Android port. It's pretty much the same as Snow Standard Edition Android port, where it's this, but on phone, released in 2018. So a relatively recent release, only 7 years ago. Yeah, I own it. It's all right. You can get the scripts from it in the same way. I haven't really looked through those because I don't care about Tomokoi, so I'm not going to read through all the scripts. But they do exist. on that note, let's move on. Next up, let's do literature. So far I've been doing these in release order, but for things from now on, I probably won't worry as much, as it's a bit harder to keep track of when all of these things released. I have the details in a spreadsheet, but I don't want to check a spreadsheet constantly. So I'll leave that for later. Can I put this way up? Let's leave it there. These are the novelized versions of Snow. You've got all the routes, all 5 routes, and there's also Tomokoi here sneaking around the corner. I'll put that to one side for now, actually. These are pretty much just the routes novelized. I haven't read these because my Japanese is bad and I can't read a book without a text extractor to look up kanji. But yeah, the novelized versions. You can see, let me see. They are 18 plus versions, by the way, so I have to be careful of how I open this, as I might just flick open to an H scene. I believe I'm safe there. See the author comment. I think on the other side, I might not be safe. Well, I am safe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yes, I presume it's just a visual novel, but novelized. Includes the CGs. Decent. When was this released? See if I can find the date. Paradigm. Oh yeah, these are Paradigm releases. They did a lot of these sort of novelized versions of visual novels. I'm not sure if they're still doing them. Oh, can't show that one online. But yes, I'll check. 2003 June, so 5 months after the release of the visual novel, they released these. Well, they didn't release them all at once, it was sort of a couple months in between them, but yeah, neat. I could go through all of them. It's not particularly worth it. I'll at least flip them over. Oh yeah, legend here is slightly interesting. The one thing I looked up as I was wondering how they'd adapt it is the not H scene in the visual novel. You'll know what I'm talking about. Interestingly, they make it an actual H scene. There's like 5 pages on it. I didn't read all of them, but I skimmed through it and thought, oh, okay, they added an H scene. I suppose they have to have it as a selling point. But who would have thought a book adaptation that adds an H scene? I don't think it adds a CG, but yeah. So those are the novelized versions of Snow. And I'll include Tomokoi here because it's a convenient place to talk about it. It's much the same. Novelized versions of Tomokoi's True Root. Yeah, I will probably knock my camera more than once while filming this. Is this an HCG? Yes. I've got to stop opening this book because every time I flick, it could be an HCG. Who would read a novelized version of a visual novel? I don't know. I'm sure they're cool. I'd read them if they were in English, but they won't be. Anyway, on to more books. Snow Mini Guidebook. This was released by Peaks and Karakawa or somebody, I think. Around the time of the visual novel's release, not too sure of the date on this, but it's a short introductory book that introduces you to the character and shows CGs. It's not a spoiler thing, but it's given out to sell it to you. Got the lyrics there at the back. If I open this, chances of an HCG are high, but not 100%. Yes, it does have 18 plus scenes in it. Let me flip it over here. There you go, you can look at Asahi. I did scan this. It's somewhere. It's an ebook. They also did ones for Canon and Air. I think there's one for Too Hot 2. A few other visual novels. Can't think of them off the top of my head. But yeah, they're neat little books. Not much to them. But there's at least a little bit of content there. And if you didn't know anything about the visual novel, maybe it would sell it to you for only 300 yen. Whereas this, which is massive, and I can barely fit on, the character create book is a waste of time. This is a similar release, someone around the visual novels release, to advertise the VN, but it's literally 6-7 pages with shows the characters, their stats, a relationship diagram. That's it. Copyright 2003. So yes. Oh, Interchannel. Presumably was for the Dreamcast release then? Oh, I suppose. I hope they gave this out for free at Comiket or something. Because, yeah, there's really nothing. It's like you could print off the VNDB page and get as much information as this gives you. Why is it so big? Compare it to... a PS2 game, and it's massive. I would put it that way. Yeah, I don't know why it's so big. Anyway. Let's go to something tiny. This is the Askepion Oshigoto Rough. Art. I don't remember what the kanji is. Yes, this is pretty much Askepion, which is one of Snow's main artists. I believe they did the character designs. And most of the art, well, no, Kobuichi did the main art, but Askepion was the character designs. And it's just a very, very small book, but it gives you, it's got early character designs. That's one of Sumino with a hat, Sumino in the bunny pajamas, just a few rough drawings. It's quite nice to see all of these early designs. Meiko there. This is also scanned, but you can find that somewhere. This is Kanata in his fantasy form, from when Snow was originally envisioned as a fantasy visual novel where Kanata would have had a sword and stuff, but they cut that idea. I suppose it kind of fed into legend. Yeah, a couple more early designs. That guy, Gonzo, who was originally going to be a character from Snow, I think it says he was a rejected character, who turns up in Tomokoi. So, there you go, planned all along. Seishiro. And the Studio Mebius mascot there. I presume she has a name. Maybe Nya? I guess that's a name. Yeah, that's actually a nice book. Next up. Another rough art book, a little bit bigger this time. It's a similar sort of thing, got a bit more content to it. Shows off rough artwork of all the characters. Does this have HCGs? I hope not. Well, I mean, that is an HCG. Yeah, it's cool. At the back there is a spoiler section, so I'll try to not show that. Got Shaman standing tall there. The life-size Shaman, which I think is a thing that they had at some Comiket or some event. I think they had a guy in a life-size Shaman costume. I don't know where pictures of that are, but they do exist. The backgrounds. I love looking at the backgrounds. Even, the normal backgrounds. You can see there's just such detail. But when you take out the colours and you just see this, it's wow. For the visual novel from 2003, it's kind of crazy how good the backgrounds look. I am showing backgrounds for the next minute, probably, because I like them so much. I don't think the background artists are credited on VNDB, unless I added them. It wasn't Asclepion and Kobuichi, it's a bunch of other people who haven't done many other visual novels. This came with a visual novel. Well, same day as the visual novel. I think it came with it.
Here is some editing in post to say it was a mail order. If you ordered the original release through mail order, you got the rough art book with it.
Next is Wagahai wa Shaman de Aru. I am Shaman the cat. This is her point of view of Okaru, along with a bit of a prologue. It's a full-on book, a bit of an epilogue as well to Okaru. Released Comiket 2003, the Winter Comiket, so December 2003. It's quite a neat little book. It reveals where Shaman got her name from, which is Oka picked up a book with a foreign gravure idol in it, and it was a complicated name, so she shortened it to Shaman. And yeah, and I believe Shaman's like, no, please don't name me after a gravure idol, especially not a foreigner. Yeah, there's a bit of lore for you there. Also, if you're wondering, how does this fit into the canon of that, it doesn't. It also doesn't fit in with Tomokoi. It contradicts that. So there's sort of three versions of events. Yep, it doesn't need to make sense. It's a visual novel. Studio Mebius. Snow Artworks. This is an art book with a nice cover, again by Paradigm, who did the novelized versions. It's your typical art book. Contains all the CGs, rough artwork, all that sort of stuff. It's quite a nice art book. See if I can flip through without hitting an HCG. Pretty unlikely. This was released somewhere in 2003. You got the lyrics and that. It was July 2003. Yep. Again, there are scans of this. I won't flip through the whole of it, but it's quite nice. Finally, on the written side, we have Snow anthology books and the Snow manga. This is the Pure White, which is a adaptation of Okaroot in that long of a book. So it's quite condensed, but it's decent. It's got a bit to it. Released by Karakawa there in the 2003. And then the rest of these are anthology mangas. So it's by various different authors. Came up with their own short stories, and they're all compiled here. They're okay. I've read one of these. I don't remember which one. I think that one. Yeah, they're anthology mangas. You know what you're getting. Don't know if there's any notable artists who worked on these who went on to do other things, but cool to see. There's one last thing in terms of books, which are these, which are 2 doujinshi that I own. Well, this one does have a reason, as you can see here, and on the back, that says Akabe Soft. You may know as later Akabe Soft 2, who made Sharin no Kuni and Jisenjo no Mao. They started off as a doujin circle, and they did things like this. I'm pretty sure I can't flip this page. I can. But yeah, this is pretty much just 18 plus drawings, as that's what was hot at the time. I own it because I thought it was a neat bit of history. I'm not really sure why I own this one, as I don't remember who the circle or the artist is. Well, beyond, you know, what it says there about Fumitake Moeki Bara and Hirorin. But I don't recognize the names. I think I just bought it because I could. Oh, that's not snow. I wonder what that is. I'm sure it's neat. Can I flip? Yeah. Anyway. Not the camera. These are just a couple cool doujinshi that I own. This has taken me longer than I anticipated, but I'll be here till the end. Now, next we're going to move into a variety of discs. For example, this one, which came with Colorful Pure Girl 2001-7, July, which I might own that volume. I do, actually, but we'll talk about the disc separately. This is the heartwarming story, although some acts may be excessive, all are because of love. Very true words. This is a short 5-minute demo of the visual novel. It runs through some scenes in auto while Flying Dragon plays. I think they are a little bit different to what's actually in the finished release of Snow, because this came out about 1.5 years before the visual novel did. But it's a neat bit of history, similarly uploaded on my channel somewhere. Only 110 yen. Next, Snow Image Album. Slightly damaged, unfortunately. This contains all the songs you see there. This was released before the visual novel did. I believe 2002 Winter Comic Cat, so about a month or 2 before release. But still before. I think it came out more to give people asking for the visual novel something. So it contains 11 songs from the OST, same as in the full release, with an arrange of Chisaki Inori, or Little Prayers, also uploaded on my channel. Yeah, Snow didn't really get any arrange albums, or it didn't get any official arrange albums. So it's always cool to see that sort of thing. Next, the 3 drama CDs. Yep, 3. Suminaru, Asahiru, Legend, Shigure, Oka. No, those don't exist. I guess these didn't sell well enough, so they didn't decide to continue the series. But it's neat to see these. They use the console voice cast, and they also have a rearranged soundtrack, which was never released, which I think is quite... It's interesting that they have a rearranged soundtrack, but I think it's a shame it was never released, as some of the songs do sound quite good. But, alas, we're never going to get it. So, just to give you a quick view, there's 2 discs, a short manual there, and the credits and the track names. They're not phenomenal. I haven't listened through them in full myself. Is that my manual? Is that the same manual? No, wait. 2. Oh, right. It's for each disc? No? I don't know. Yeah. It's still cool to have, even if you're better off just reading the visual novel. I'll open these, but it's much the same. And once again, much the same. Quick one, this is the Snow, it's like install demo, something like that. It's 2002. This was, I think, shown in stores to advertise the release of Snow. It's a short 5-minute video with the opening, maybe a little bit more than that. Don't entirely remember. It's uploaded somewhere on my channel, but yeah, it's not phenomenal. It's sort of similar to that. Next, Snow Extra CD. This released a little bit after Snow did, and probably Comiket. Summer Comiket 2003. So it has, as you can see, the contents there. It's got Yuri Sora no Yuri Kago by Matsuzawa Yumi, the opening artist for Snow. That's correct. I believe I'm not getting mixed up. As in-game, it's only an insert song by Sumino's all ages voice actor. It's here. You get it from the artist, the opening artist. I've been here for an hour. I'm kind of losing my mind slightly. Yeah, apart from that, it's just got sort of calendars and a couple other things. It's okay, but not too special. It's the soundtrack. What more can you say? Apart from it's the soundtrack. It's got probably the lyric. Oh yeah, the track listing. There's the lyrics, staff credits, liner notes. Ooh. And then that is nothing. Alright. Next, Prototype 2007 Movie Collection. Yeah, not an official Studio Mebius thing. But, as you can see here, it contains various movies. Main one there being the Snow Portable opening. That's the upload I have on this channel, as it contains it in, I don't want to say HD, but 800 by 600 I think, version of the opening. And last, and maybe least, is Tomokoi Special Edition. I said last. This is not the last one actually, but it's the last one I have in my hand. Tomokoi Special Edition. It's like that. It's just kind of the opening. What does it say? Shop event limited something or other. The Tomokoi soundtrack. Yep, it's the Tomokoi soundtrack. This is actually one of the first things I bought, as I couldn't find the Tomokoi soundtrack online anywhere, and I didn't want to rip it from the game, as it's got the loop, you know, like they cut off abruptly because it's meant to be looped, so I didn't want that. So I bought a copy of this, and then I bought a lot of other things, as you've seen so far. It is a good soundtrack. I would recommend listening to it if you haven't already. Next, another Tomokoi thing. Everyone's favorite. This is the Drama City, Toki no Tabibito. Or Traveler in Time is the name for it. This is actually the best piece of Tomokoi related material I think you can find out there. It released a little bit before the visual novel, I'm not sure exactly when, but sometime mid-2004. And it is half Snow Epilogue, which is very good, and half Tomokoi Prologue, which is not as good, but it's better than the visual novel itself. Yeah, it's actually quite worth a listen if you can understand the language, as it's not translated. Just a few more to go. First up, we're into the Dojin Arrange albums now. This one, Junga Shni, maybe that's how you pronounce it. Various arrangements from several visual novels. You can see Snow there. We've got Snow again, and Snow and Clannad. As you can guess, Fate as well, cross channel. Quite a good album. Also uploaded on my channel. Got Type Nothing. Yeah, bit of Fate Stay Night art there. This is challenging to put back in. There we go. Next up, another Arrange album, Festival of Sound, Otono Matsuri. This one only has, I think, one Snow song, Yuki no Kanata there. Other ones are Clannad, yeah, cross channel, and other things, canon. Now finally, for real this time, Silent Night. Snow. And other versions. Yes, it's, I believe, a piano arrangement of Snow. It's quite a flimsy case and nothing on the disc, but still cool to have. It's a nice song. It's going to do it for the discs. Next up, a couple of Tomokoi books. This, which we've already seen earlier, so I don't need that. Tomokoi Premium Edition, or promotion book, which was for the Premium Edition, I think. And this, which is Abura Tori. I have no idea, honestly. It's a bunch of brown paper, and it says something there. I don't know what that's for. But this, I do know what this is for. It's quite interesting. How many HCGs have we got here? I think we're good. Pull out book. Flip through this. Okay, be careful flipping through this. Character introductions. Is the next page safe? Yeah. No. No, let's not go for that page. There's interviews in here. The HCG's on the page, unfortunately. Is this scanned? I don't think it is, actually. I'll get to that somewhere. There you can see a short, nice map of Ryujin Mura. Another map, a few bits of artwork. Some powers. The opening. Oh yeah, the opening for Tomokoi is animated, actually. It's supposed to Snows, which is all sort of the static stuff moving around. This one got a proper, like, anime OP, which is cool. It would be nice if they did one for Snow, but they never did. Now, it does have a few things here. One is this disc, which has something on it. I'll be honest, I do not remember what it is. I know I've uploaded it. It might be, I think it's the opening covered by Sakura and Meiko's voice actors. Sounds about right. And there's a couple other things in this. There's a bunch of postcards here, which are spoilery, I would imagine. A couple... I don't even know what that is. Coaster? One on Mako. Probably another one in here. No, never mind. Yeah, let me flip through these off screen. I mean, yeah, there's not much there. And then there is this book over here. Mebineko Diary, Mebineko News. That's what it means. It's the sort of news booklets. They did quite a few of these. I have a few. We'll see those in a minute. 2.5, so they released this after 2 and before 3. In case you couldn't have guessed that one. Just to flip it open. You see it's got rough character artwork. At the back we've got the A2 Q of Tomokoi, because they ran out of letters in the alphabet, I suppose. No, that ends at P. That's not a Q. Yeah, some rough artwork. That's slightly on the edge, but I think that's fine. It's neat. That's going to do it for these. We're getting a little bit into the weeds here with random other Studio Mebius stuff that I own. That's some of it's kind of snow related, some of it's kind of gone off the rails here. But this is Mebineko News Volume 2. So, and this is Mebineko News Volume 3. Tomokoi 2.5 goes here. These were released at some Comic-Cats. This one's about Tomokoi. No, it opens. Yeah, it does open that way. I do know how to open a book. Yeah, you know, character introductions, rough artwork, all that good stuff. Lyrics. Yes, I own 2 copies of it. Don't worry. 3, again, similarly. Except this one is for the God of Death, which is their division of what they released after Tomokoi. 2 copies. And then this one is another one about the God of Death. I think it's only... yeah, that's it. But this is Puchi Neko Dayoi, which is Petite Neko News. For 0 yen. Gave this away for free at Comic-Cats, something like that. Oh yeah, the date's wrong there. I think it's meant to be 2005, but I don't know. Because as it happens, this is maybe the rarest thing I own. If you Google it, you can't find anything. Or maybe you'll find me posting about it, but there's no record of it online. As I got it in a collection with a bunch of other Studio Mebius stuff, including the duplicate copies of these, and that empty box of Snow Full Voice that I showed off earlier. So, I don't know where it came from. It just came in a set of Studio Mebius stuff, and I thought, oh, that's cool, I'll buy that. It was pretty cheap. Sort of $15 for that, the empty full voice box, that, a few other things that we'll get to. But yeah, that's all of those. And yes, there's no volume 1. There's no volume 1. As I don't... I couldn't find a copy of it online. That's the story. Next up, a couple more Studio Mebius books. So we got Mebiya, official guidebook. Mebiya was their 10-year anniversary release, which included Dark Snow and all their other visual novels up to that point, except for Snow. So included X and Akamu and Zetsubo. This is just a guidebook that gives you a flowchart and all that stuff. And at the back is a bit of HCGs, edit that. Flowcharts. At the back are some rough CGs. At the back, rough CGs. For example, this is from Toki no Uta, which I'll get to later. But for now, some rough CGs. And this is the Studio Mebius 10th anniversary event passport. A Mebia user manual. So I believe this is just the manual for Mebia, which also came with this passport thing. Oh, dark snow. Yeah, let's not look too closely. So, you can see, you could take this to Comiket and various events and get it stamped. So this person who I bought it off went to Comiket 66 and got a nice stamp there. And I believe there's one more as well from Comiket 67. It doesn't include the number, but you can tell by the date that it's Comiket 67. Well, that's quite a nice little book, I think. Next we have a calendar from 2003, released in 2002, of course, which is massive. Hang on, other way around. There we go. And you can see Sumino there. Yep. I don't think it has any unique illustrations. Actually, maybe that's a unique illustration. Not too sure. But it's a calendar. Does what you'd expect. That's pretty much it. I've also got the 2004 calendar, which is much smaller. And this is in this interesting format. There's a bit of plastic on this that you could pop out, but I have never done that and won't do that. But it's got art from, this is Studio Mebius calendar, as you can see, not Snow. So it's got art from all their visuals. This is from X. This is from Akamu, Zetsubo, Snow Shigure, Tomokoi, Meiko, and Tokino Uta, whatever her name was. Amagi Ray? I think it was something like that. Which again, I'll get to in a second. But that was one of the only pieces of art released for Tokino Uta. This is scanned in, but Drink It In by Kobuichi. Getting close to the end here, we're on to other assorted Studio Mebius stuff. These are 3 cool packs. I don't entirely know what they're called, but I believe the concept is you punch them and then they cool down, and they're good for, I suppose, conventions in hot summer days and so on. These are Tomokoi Meiko themed, released 2004, but they don't really do anything anymore. It's not cool. You might need to put it in the fridge or something. I don't know. I haven't read this. I don't really care about them, but neat to have. Again, that came in that collection that I got for $15. Fan, Comiket 66, Meiko, Tomokoi, yep, you know the deal. And then last is this hat, which gets squashed unfortunately, but again it's Meiko Tomokoi themed, probably Comiket 66 as well. I think you can see Meiko wearing this or something similar to it in one of the pieces of art they released for Comiket. It's cool. Now, the last thing I want to show off is a couple magazines. I do have quite a few magazines, but these are just the 2 that are of the most interest. It's Colorful Pure Girl 2001 July with Sumino on the cover there. This is the one that had that disc that I showed earlier, and I probably have another. And I probably can open this and I instantly get blasted with an HCG and have to edit that bit out. But I can probably open it and find another copy of that disc, as I believe I have 2 copies of it. Yes. It's fine, I'm covering the HCG. Look, it's ASCII. This has a very long section on snow, as you can see there, with interviews and me hitting the camera again, full cover manga, and report of how it's going, and all that sort of stuff. It's quite nice. I have it all scanned in. Can't show you that. Can't really show you any of the pages. I'll show you this page with the big Orca poster. Very big Orca poster. Yeah, scanned in if you want to see what all this is about. I can't close this. Chotto hito yasumi da yo. Yeah, something to do. And then, finally, probably the first thing that started me off collecting a bunch of snow stuff is this here, which is the 2004 January edition of Colourful Pure Girl, featuring Studio Mebius. There you have the mascot of Studio Mebius with her cat ears and paws and feet. There's Meiko, as Tomokoi was announced here. She's just there because it's Studio Mebius. And that there is Shion, the main heroine of Toki no Uta, which I can flip to, but I'll show this first. It's mostly safe for work, probably. Okay, let me just cover those two pictures, and this is safe for work. Just want to mention this is where they introduced Tomokoi, but it had a different protagonist to the one that we ended up getting. This was just what we got is just some guy. This is, I believe, the cousin of Seishiro. There were also going to be two of them, and then two releases of Tomokoi. The first one was going to focus on Meiko, the second one on Sakura. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I have a document that goes into it a bit if you're interested. But more importantly, Toki no Uta, if I can flip the page. Toki no Uta. Now this was going to be the next nakige visual novel by Studio Mebius after Snow. So this was going to be more, well, it's going to have a summer setting and probably more influenced by air. I mean, Snow was influenced by air a lot, but this would have more of that summer vibe. And probably would have been really good, but it got cancelled. Well, I say that. It never got officially cancelled. It more got delayed, and then they sort of stopped talking about it, and then Studio Mebius died. So it's kind of cancelled. I do have a sort of 20-page document where I rant about all of this stuff for ages. But let's give a brief overview. Yep, Summer Nakige. It got cancelled or delayed and never released for a few reasons, probably. Most likely it's just the scope was insane. It was going to be Love tier in terms of there would be 3 separate parts. The first part I think was going to be 3, and you have the second part which would be the daily life, and I think maybe sort of the heroine routes, and then there'd be the third part also released separately, which would be the true route, and the setting was going to change dramatically in it. So maybe, I don't know, it would be an isekai story. It's unclear because there's not this is most of the details you have. There's a couple other magazines and a couple things like that, but there's really not too much on it. And also everyone, well, I say everyone, a lot of Studio Mebius left around 2004, which is when it was announced and was planning to be released, and joined Ubisoft. Well, say joined Ubisoft. I mean, founded Ubisoft after like 2 years of doing some other stuff. So yes, Ubisoft is created by former Studio Mebius members, in case you didn't know. But yeah, Talking Uda there. I wish it got released, as I think it would have been really cool. She looks very nice. But unfortunately not. That's all we've got. Now it's time for the append disc, the plus edition, whatever you want to call it, part of the video, where I filmed the rest of this a few months ago, and then realized as I was editing that I missed a few things. So I thought I'd edit them in here. It's no longer on a table, it's on a bed, so it's an easier setup. It's a fan disc, so it's lower budget. I'll just run through these quickly. First is a bag. I believe Comiket, one of the Comikets, I'm sure. This side is Studio Ring, which is Studio Mebius' sister company. Also under Visual Arts, they did Lolly games, among other things. They're also kind of dead. But yeah, Studio Ring and Studio Mebius, they were kind of related throughout their lives. On the other side of this bag is the Studio Mebius side, featuring the mascot. And then I have another bag as well, presumably from another Comiket, 2004, with Mako, with the hat and the fan that I showed earlier, and a bag. Not this bag, it's similar to this bag. I wonder if you could get that bag from somewhere. And this, I think, is, yeah, Studio Ring. It's one of their VNs. I don't remember which one. I haven't read any of them. Not really my thing. But that's 2 bags. And then another thing is this, which is Mebius. I think I talked about it earlier. But this is, yeah, I can show the back of this. It's fine. Pretty much. This is where Dark Snow was first released, and it has X, Akumu, Zetsubo. So it's Studio Mebius' 10th anniversary release, with all of their VNs up to that point, excluding Snow, included. Unfortunately, this box is empty, as I got it along with the full voice duplicate in that collection, which is also where these bags came from. And it was empty. I don't know if it said that in the listing. It could have, and I just missed it. But yeah, so I don't actually own a physical copy of Mebius. I just own the box, which is good enough for me. I don't really care to own it. If I can close this, that would be good. I'll put that to one side. Couple more things. This is the Snow Book with Watch, which, if I open it here, I believe it's not a watch, it's a clock. As you can see, there's a clock there. There's a battery and instructions. I've never actually set this up. I'm not really sure how to. I think this is a calendar? Yeah. For January, February? I don't know if the rest of the months are hidden. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't really know when or why they released that, but they sure did. This is another book with watch. That one's the Sumino one. This is the Oka one. I wonder if this has different months. Oh yeah, look at that. May and June. So maybe they did 6 of them for each, one for each, well, one for each 2-month set. I'm not too sure. The battery's missing out of this one. Unless someone put it in and used it. Yeah, they're not. It's not really much to them, but interesting release, I suppose. So they did a lot of much. And then, oh, I can close it properly. There's just one more thing that I thought I might as well show as I found it lying around, which is the 2001, right? No, 2003. It says up there, February 14th issue of Raspberry, with Sumino on the cover. Comes with some Muv Love stickers and whatever visual novel that was. I should know, it looks familiar. Oh, Akka. Are they both Akka? Maybe. And a Sumino Mouse Man. I do have my mouse behind me. as I'm filming this in a different room. So, yep, it's a mouse mat. I'm sure it works quite well. Thought I'd just show. Luckily, this magazine is safe for work. Interestingly, it has the short snow article, which shows a bit of the history of snow there. So they started it in 1999 and it went through various revisions. And then there's, I think, 100 questions about snow with the developers. I couldn't tell you if any are of note. I'm pretty sure I read through them somewhere, but I don't really remember. That was a few years ago. I probably scanned this in somewhere, but I can't say for certain. Maybe I'll check. That's pretty much it. That's everything I missed. Back to the regular video. That took longer than I anticipated, but that's it. That's all of the things related to Studio Mebius that I own. Like and subscribe. Next time, there won't be a next time, as I don't really own anything else to this degree. But